There we go. We are jumping straight in to the trial from the right of Turnabout. May 11th, 9:40 a.m. High Court of Kurine, Accused Lobby. I wasn't able to find any conclusive evidence yesterday, but if I can figure out Lady Kira's motive for threatening the High Priest, then maybe. Nick, today, well, don't look so down, Maya. I'm gonna defend you with everything I've got. You would do well to cease this insanity while you still can. As I said yesterday, I'm gonna defend my client in court. Well, know this. You shall not witness a miracle of the sort that occurred last time. The moment she is found guilty, you too will be found guilty of abetting the accused. I never claimed to be a miracle maker. Well, you don't claim it, but you basically are. But I am good at discovering the truth. And unlike miracles, the truth is always waiting to be found. The truth, you say? Then it seems you have chosen your fate. This shall be your very last trial. Nick, I'm gonna prove you innocent, Maya, you'll see. After all, you have to introduce the plumed Punisher, warrior of Neo-Twilight Realm, to the folks back home, right? Right. I may be a defendant this time. But I'll be by your side like always, Nick. Thanks, Maya. This place is tough on lawyers. I'll need all the help I can get. Plus, it's always good to have you on the team. Well, it's time. Let's go. May 11th, High Court of Kurine. Alright, day one. Court is now in session. All rise. Let the trial of Maya Fey begin. The defense is ready, Your Majesty. Ah, there he is. Huh? Quiet! Can't you see Prosecutor Sadnati is absorbed in silent prayer? Great. The trial's barely started and the judge is already mad at me. He's very devout for a prosecutor. Why is the accused standing over there? Oh, well... Your Majesty, in addition to being the accused, she is also my assistant. The accused is your assistant, you say? Very well, then. A criminal does indeed make a fitting partner to a lawyer with a defiled soul. That wasn't very nice. Yeah, well, bad-mouthing lawyers seems to be a custom of sorts here in Kurine. I must say, I am surprised to see you still here in Kurine, Mr. Wright. And even more so to find you in the Hall of Justice once more. I cannot fathom why you would willingly risk your life in yet another trial. The answer's simple, Your Majesty. I am a lawyer, and this is what lawyers do. Although, to be frank, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now. There, he's got a butterfly on his finger. Such foolishness. Prosecutor Sadmati, are you ready to begin now? Yes, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. But first, I promise you both this. I will cast your wicked souls into the fires of hell. Thus shall the soul of the victim attain salvation. Splendid! I would expect nothing less of you, Prosecutor Sadmati. Please save the victim's soul, Prosecutor Sadmati. Punish the wicked lawyer who dares to stop these last rites. I think I'll pass on that whole fire and brimstone deal. But I'm not surprised by your words or stance, considering what Apollo's told me about you. So it was you who instilled that putrid lawyerly guile within him. Putrid what? He, too, must soon face the fires, lest his soul be lost to redemption. But I shall send you on ahead so that he will not be lonely when he arrives. Sorry, but I'm afraid it won't be that easy. People say I never know when to give up. Nervous, Maya? A little. Feels like it's been ages since we stood side by side like this in court. Too bad I'm the defendant. Don't worry. We haven't lost a case together yet. You're right. Let's give this everything we've got, Nick.
Now then, Prosecutor Sedmadi, would you please explain the case at hand?
Of course, Your Majesty. Let us begin the last rites of the victim. Maya Fey has been charged with the crime of murder. The victim of her heinous crime was High Priest Tarust Inmi. He was conducting the purification rite when he was brutally slain.
In the cause of death?
Let us review the victim's autopsy report and the crime scene photo, shall we? The cause of death was blood loss from a stab wound delivered to the abdomen. The murder weapon was likely the war-barred dagger, which was used in the rite. However, the weapon has yet to be found, though the scene was thoroughly searched.
A sacred relic used as a tool of murder? The Holy Mother's wrath shall be most severe.
The murder itself took place at the height of the purification rite. The accused had donned Lady Kira's sacred robes, and the victim was there to offer prayers as the high priest of Kurainism. During the rite, the victim and accused were the only two at the inner sanctum. Therefore, the only person who could have slain the victim is Maya Fey.
I must say, that does cast a great deal of suspicion upon the accused.
Indeed. Now then, allow me to submit this diagram of the crime scene as evidence in this case. Inner sanctum diagram. A diagram of the scene of the high priest's murder. It shows where the lanterns and the warbod statue are. Okay, so... And we know... Yeah, broken lantern. I was going to say, we know one of them was broken, which remains to be seen why. We also know that there was one of those prayer curtain flag things hung over here on this side. So that might come up later as well. In Kurainism, slaying a priest is a sin most grave and dreadful. As such, Maya Fey's soul shall be plunged into the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling. What? Okay. Is this some Big Trouble in Little China level hells? This is okay. There she shall be tickled without end for 500 million years.
Okay. That is a terrible fate indeed. Would the defense care to respond?
And here I thought the lowest level of hell was the hell of back pain. No, that's just being older than 31. I don't remember killing anyone, and I don't have that dagger or anything like it. As my client stated, she has no memory of the event as described by the prosecution. But more importantly, she had no motive to kill the high priest in the first place. Don't you sigh at me. I thought you might say that. Nevertheless, the meaningless prattle of lawyers is utterly ineffectual here in the Hall of Justice. For all will be made clear by her benevolence, Rafa Padma Karain's insights.
So it is, and so it shall be. The divination seance reveals the truth for all to see.
Here we go again.
Bailiff, please show in the royal priestess.
We gonna get another dance number here?
Princess Rafa.
Oh, how beautiful her benevolence looks again today. Glory to the Holy Mother for this blessed day. As popular as ever, I see. Rest assured, good people of Khura'in, I will defeat this murderer and her abettor. They shall not escape on their freedom expressed today.
What a joy it is to have the royal priestess back in the Hall of Justice. May the Holy Mother grant us her divine favor. Dihara Khura'in.
She sure looks pleased with herself. Especially for someone who didn't know what a Freedom Express was until yesterday. Is there something stuck to my face, Barbed Head? No, nothing, Your Benevolence.
Now then, Your Benevolence, the divination seance, if you please.
Very well. Nena, my robe.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
All right, we're going to deal with one of these again. Fun. Who's playing the song this time? Since we kind of, I'm assuming, got the last guitarist executed. All right, let's get into it and figure out what's going on. Ah, there she is. Okay. Ah, we're doing the thing. Again, with the fingers. Okay. And he's looking at a book. There's no text yet. Wind. Uh-oh. Footsteps. Incense. Pain. But he did get stabbed. So somehow Maya had the ability to just change right there. Is she a superhero?
The victim's Mitama has spoken. The divination seance is complete.
Great. Another clearly incriminating seance vision. It could not be any clearer, O foul defense. The accused donned the sacred robes of Lady Kira and then attacked the victim.
Oh, how very terrible it must have been. The figure of Lady Kira lit against the dim lantern light, the scent of incense growing ever more potent as she drew near. One can almost sense the horror Abbott in me must have felt.
There's your butterfly again. The facts as presented by her benevolence are indisputable. But that wasn't me! Do something, Nick! I'm working on it. I couldn't have been any clearer. Looks like I'm in for another uphill battle. The accused committed this vile act during our ancient tradition, the purification rite. Come to think of it, the rites guide explains the multi-part purification rite in detail. Do we have that? Yeah. Yeah. So, the ceremony ends with the rite of fire. Hang on a second. Purification is a 3-part ceremony held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Poniponi. It begins with the transformation rite. The high priest reads scripture, while a priestess dons the robes of Lady Kira, which have been purified with incense. Next is the rite of water, in which the priestess enters the spring dressed as Lady Kira, and the high priest purifies both Lady Kira and her dagger. The ceremony ends with the rite of fire, in which the priestess circles the sacred flames to purify her soul. Okay. Priestess enters the spring dressed as Lady Kira. Okay. Not that they aren't enjoyable, but these divination seances feel like a way less entertaining version of Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Yeah. I mean, the logic and reasoning spectaculars are so good that it is really hard to go back to anything else. The two then devote themselves to prayer until the rite comes to a close 2 days later at noontime. So basically the whole thing's a fancy way for Lady Kira to take a bath once a year. Must be nice to be her, haha. Who wrote... Did Maya write that? I guess so. Yeah, I miss Sholmes. Come to think of it, right, okay, we got that. Oh. Me stopping to read that was completely useless. Thanks, game. The transformation rite. The high priest reads scripture while a priestess dons the robes of Lady Kira. The rite of water. Lady Kira enters the spring and the high priest purifies her along with her dagger. The rite of fire. The priestess circles the sacred flames to purify her soul. Yeah, indeed. It would seem that the murder occurred during the transformation rite. The rite dictates that the high priest stand in front of the spring. Therefore, the accused must have attacked him from the direction of the broken lantern. Well, Barbed Head, would you care to object? Yeah, and they're similar in a sense that they both have parts that are accurate, but the interpretation is initially way off base. Yeah, that's like... And they're comically off base sometimes in Sholmes' case. Of course, because I know my client is innocent. So you say. You truly do not know when you are beaten, do you? I managed to pull it off last time with Albie. I'll just have to do it again.
You intend to find fault with her benevolence's insights yet again? It would seem lawyers are pokoonin creatures indeed.
Look at that pokoonin. Pokoonin. What exactly is a pokoonin? Someone who's a real piece of work, so to speak. Man, they really are racist against lawyers. The King of Germany broke my favorite coffee mug. It's the only possible explanation. Yes! They can call me anything they want. The only thing I care about is uncovering the truth. So, Barbed Head, are you foolish enough to risk your life for your so-called truth? Because my insights are the truth. To deny them is to willingly dig your own grave. Insight. All right. Rafa's insight. The victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. As the first part, the transformation rite, ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense-laden robes. It was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed, till finally he passed from our world. Okay. That is everything the victim experienced in his final moments. Oh, we gotta shows where Maya and the priest were during the rite. Okay. Dressed in the sacred robes of Lady Kira, the accused rushed the victim head-on. The brutal stabbing she perpetrated could not have been any clearer. Yes, it is plain for all to see. No, it wasn't me! A sudden drowsiness came over me during the transformation rite. I didn't even get a chance to put on Lady Kira's robes. You waste our time with such meaningless statements, accused. You cannot explain away the truths revealed by the royal priestess's divine insight. Oh, how did you end up finding contradictions last time? The deceased's final memories include all 5 senses. Oh, you mean those words that appeared in the pool of souls? It looked to me like the bigger the word, the stronger the sensation was to the victim. Yeah, that's how it looked to me too. The sensations themselves are never wrong, only their interpretations. That's why I tried to point out mistakes in Rafa's insights the last time. So there could be contradictions between what Abbott and me felt and her insights, huh? You got it. And I'm gonna find them this time too. Should I check how to point out contradictions in Rafa's insights? Sure. It has been 2 cases. I can switch between insights with A and D, right, while I look for inconsistencies between them and the sensations in the vision. Seance visions can be paused with Z. I can even jump to different points in the seance vision, using M and B. When I see an insight that doesn't seem right, I should select R, right? Then all I have to do is point out the sensation that contradicts with the insight. These sensations this time seem to fluctuate more than the ones from Albie's trial, in which case I'd better keep an eye on changes in their intensity too. Alright, the victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns. There's a problem though, one of them was broken. Is that immediately the problem? Because one of them was broken. Huh. Wind. Footsteps, footsteps, incense, and then pain. And he blacks out. Oh, wait. Yeah, he blacks out. So, him... Alright, the victim, as the first part of the transformation rite ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, heard the accused footsteps and smelled her... We're gonna pause. I believe that's when he was stabbed. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed, till finally he passed from this world. Yeah, I think that's... The problem is the broken lantern. Bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. That, to me, can I... Let's see. Can I look at the record again? No, I need the map. Let's look at the map. So if he was standing there, he would be bowing to one of the broken lanterns. The question I have is, when was that lantern broken? Can we point that out? Is it going to let us? Let's see. Present. Let's see if this works. No? Your benevolence, isn't this statement inconsistent with the vision? Inconsistent? I think not. Exactly. That's where the inconsistency lies.
No, I believe it is in the defense's thought process that the inconsistency lies.
I guess there wasn't an inconsistency there after all. What is it, Maya? I'm still trying to figure this whole insight thing out. When the words change size, that means the intensity of those sensations is changing too, right? That's what it looks like to me. So then, that's probably something we should keep an eye on, too. That feels like a huge hint for something. In short, we should be on the lookout for changes that shouldn't take place, but they do anyway. And changes that don't occur when they should. Okay? I feel like I've been served a massive hint, so I will keep that in mind. How very perceptive of you. I guess all that training's sharpened Maya's mind along with her powers. Let's compare the vision to the insights while looking for changes in sensory intensity. Sounds like a plan. All right. Well, let's see. The victim... All right, let's look at this again. So he's bowing to the lantern. So at this point, that lantern over there is fine, which I think is a contradiction, but I'm apparently getting ahead of the game. All right, and he's reading. There are no sounds right now. When he pulls this down, that's when he starts getting the sensation. So wind, it's kind of just like moving around. Footsteps, incense. Wait, whoa. Hang on. Go back. We're gonna go back. I just noticed something. So wind, it's kind of the same. Now look at this. The footsteps, the incense gets huge. The footsteps never change size. See that? Let's go back one more time. Wind is the same, but then footsteps, incense gets huge, and then we have pain, which is huge, but the footsteps never change. What is that about? So let's go back to where the footsteps show up. All right. Yeah, see? Footsteps remain the same. Does she say anything about footsteps? Let's see. As the first part, the transformation rite, ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense-laden robes. All right. We got a problem. And the problem is the footsteps. Objection! I think this is it. Yep. The victim supposedly heard the accused approaching footsteps. I don't really take credit for that because I feel like the game just handed me a giant clue, but still. But did he really? What nonsense is this? Is it not abundantly clear? No, it's not. Because there is something strange about those footsteps. Strange? Explain yourself, bobbed head. The footsteps are strange because they don't get louder. They're not getting any louder.
And why exactly does that matter?
Please focus your attention on the incense the victim smelled. The scent grows stronger as the accused approaches. If the accused really had approached the victim, the sound of her footsteps would have grown louder as the scent of incense grew stronger.
Ugh. Why, that makes perfect sense. How can this be explained, Your Benevolence?
Well, there must be a reason. Uh-oh. It is as they say. Even a putrid worm of a lawyer will turn. What does that even mean? He's not exactly singing your praises, that's for sure. Still, we cannot discount this information solely on account of its lawyerly source. Your Benevolence, perhaps you must listen more carefully to the abbot's mitama. Listen more carefully? What's he talking about? Yes, it would appear so. I shall try to refine the sensation. Refine the sensation? I can more accurately gauge sensations by deepening my communication with the mitama.
I didn't know you could do that.
Why have we never done this before? By refining a sensation, a clearer picture of the truth can be discovered. Oh, blessed mitama, I beseech you, hear me now and respond to my call. So what's gonna change? Bells! Wait, they're not...
Footsteps changed into bells? What could this mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. bells, but the only bells at the scene of the crime were... Ah, that jingling must have come from Abbot Inme's bells. Oh, he had bells on his feet, yeah. You mean those big things he had on his ankles? Well, there you have it. The sound of the bells was from the high priest's own footsteps. Then that means... If the footsteps belonged to the victim himself, it means it was the victim who was moving, not the accused. The victim was the one who went running toward the broken lantern from the spring. A far cry from what her benevolence's insight would have us believe. Oh, interesting. Alright. Interesting.
But why would the victim have approached the accused?
Maybe he was trying to defend himself.
Please explain.
He could have felt threatened by Lady Kira standing there with a dagger. If so, he might have thought to overpower her before she attacked.
Still your voices. This is nothing but a theory, and a poor one at that. Be not led astray by this lawyer's obvious postulation.
While his insolence is inexcusable, I would ask that you calm yourself, your benevolence. Is there something you would care to say, Prosecutor Sadmati? Even if it was Abbot Inme who moved, it does not negate the accused's crime. What do you mean? The accused was likely waiting for the high priest to approach. Ah! And as he neared, she plunged the dagger into him. It is as simple as that. Oh, right. It really doesn't change much, does it? Yes, it is as the prosecutor has said. In fact, it is as I meant to say all along as well. Right, and that's why you were so shocked when you first heard it. Understand now, lawyer, that contradiction you conjured up has come to naught. Once I hone my insights, it will vanish like the dying rays of the sun. Insight revised. Alright, so what is this changing to? He rushed the accused and tried her fight her off by the broken lantern. Lantern wasn't broken, was it? See, the fact that it was Abbot Inme who moved changes nothing. Ugh! Come on, Phoenix, you gotta keep your cool. That contradiction I pointed out must mean something. That one sensation changed after Princess Rafa refined her vision. It stands to reason that something else might have changed too because of the refinement. I should focus on any sensations that have changed, while searching for more contradictions between them and her insights. Okay. So, the whole thing has changed a bit. Alright, let's look at the insights again. So, we do all this, he bows. Again, that lantern is intact. I think that's going to be a big thing that we can point out. But, let's see. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and move to that. Wind. Okay, the wind is there. Bells. What? Wait, water. There's bells for a second. And then there's water. Huh. Water, pain. So, hang on. How did he end up... How did he end up in the pool if he ran toward her? I believe this is when he was stabbed as his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed till finally he passed from this world. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. Let's go to here. Let's see. I don't see the broken lantern anywhere here. So that... that's weird to me. I'm thinking here. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. So it was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. Okay. As the first part, the transformation rite ended, he lowered the sutra, right? He bowed to the lanterns and he read a sutra, right? And then he rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. Here's the other thing, too. Here's something I'm thinking. Because I feel like the way Phoenix was like, oh, they're going to change what the text is. That's kind of an indication that he is... You want to look out for what changed. So water is what changed. So here, if he ran over by the broken lantern to fight, he would not be hearing any water, right? Because the only water he would hear is from the spring. So I'm wondering if the problem here is that he was hearing water. I think that's what we're on here. I'm gonna do my double save and get going, and we're gonna select the sound of water. Objection! Did we get it? Oh, I think we did. Hold it. How do we know the purification rite was performed exactly as it was supposed to be? That's easy. The customs governing the rite are very clear, and Abedinmi would have adhered to them. Well, that's strange.
Mr. Wright, would you care to explain just what is so strange?
Yes, I would ask you to consider the sound of the victim's footsteps. The sound of bells changes to the sound of water at one point. What's this? It's simple. The victim must have stepped in some water. Oh. Yes, and the only source of water in the inner sanctum is the spring. And therein lies the contradiction. What contradiction? I believe the rite started out as it should have. The victim stood with his back to the spring, and the accused stood right in front of him. But we now know that the victim then moved into the spring.
Pokunka, that is absurd!
This means the accused's location differs from what her benevolence's insight indicates. Yeah.
Then, when you propose the accused stood when she donned Lady Kira's robes?
That is some big eyes. Based on the sound of the victim's footsteps, I believe Maya was standing here. Well, hang on. Where was Maya based on the victim's footsteps? Are we talking about Maya or quote-unquote murder Maya? Because that's the difference. Because my initial thought was that if he ran toward the killer and ended up in the water, the killer must have been right there in the spring. So where was Maya? Was she in the spring too? Was she being attacked or something? Was he defending her? Because I don't know. I feel like if we say she's out here, that's not changing much. If we say she's by the lanterns, the broken lantern thing, that concerns me. We'll figure that out later. Let's do the spring and see if that does it. Until this moment, we've all just assumed that Abedinmi and Miss Faye were standing where they were supposed to be, as shown in the rights guide. In short, the victim should have been standing with his back to the spring and the accused in front. However, if that is how they were really standing, He couldn't have stepped into the spring as he approached her. The problem is, the victim did step into the spring. This can only mean that Miss Fey had actually been standing in the water.
But if this is true, then their positions would have been completely reversed.
The inner sanctum diagram updated in the court record.
What is going on here, Miss Fey? Were you really standing in the spring?
I'm sorry, but I barely remember anything about the rite. All right. The high priest would never make such an obvious blunder during a rite. What on earth? Is that even possible? Be that as it may, this does not overturn my insights. It doesn't? Let us say the accused was standing in the spring. So what? So what? This completely reverses their positions is what? That their positions differed from what is customary is rather curious. However, what does that change? It certainly does not erase the accused's brutal crime. I guess you have a point there. You lawyers are an absurd breed. Never thinking ahead, you cling to the first insignificant contradiction you can muster. Ugh. Sounds like Princess Rafa has a pretty good grasp on what lawyers are all about. Oh, Maya, where would I be without your brutally frank commentary right now? Is this contradiction really meaningless? But something really doesn't feel right. Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth. Insight revised. We got, he rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the poolside lantern. Poolside lantern. Now the contradiction is no more. But the truth of the matter still stands, no matter how stubbornly you deny it.
What do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Wright?
Nick! Your Majesty, this lawyer may have raised a trivial objection, but her benevolence's insights have no further inadequacies of any kind.
Yes, so it would seem.
Wait a second, but there is another contradiction. Still you flounder about, wretched beast. Though you rack that putrid brain of yours, nothing worthwhile will come of it. Maya, please tell me you remember something that might help us out here. Sorry, I really don't remember a thing. But now that the place I was standing in has changed, who knows? That alone may cause a new discrepancy with Princess Rafa's insights. That's right, we now know that Maya was standing in the spring. A major change like that could very well produce a contradiction. I should take another look at the inner sanctum diagram in the court record. Alright? Let's do it. So, let's say Maya was there, and Tarust was there, and he... So, there's two lanterns, there's a broken lantern, and there's a lantern. Right. Do we have the broken lantern as evidence? The curtain around the perimeter, isolating it from the outside world. The entrance was shut during the rite. Bloodstained letter. Wait, hang on. Shows the high priest's body, a shoveled out area of snow, and a lantern with a broken wind guard. Broken wind guard. Hang on a second. So, as in a wind guard... But he heard wind. Right? That was one of the sounds he heard. So if there's a wind guard... Yeah, that's weird. And confirm where Maya and Abbott in me were standing. And then focus on finding any discrepancies between their positions and the insights. Alright. Victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. First part transformation. Okay. Buy the spring side lantern. This vision. So is this where the lantern is going to come into play? Wind. Does he still hear wind? Alright, pain, and that's it, he's gone. So hang on a second. Yeah, we got a weird problem here then if he hears wind. Because that thing, he shouldn't hear wind. Hang on, go back. He shouldn't hear wind from that. If the wind... If he's positioned the way that we think he's positioned. So there's something weird about this, too. Yeah. Let's see. Objection! Is this it? Oh, it's not. Your benevolence. Isn't this statement inconsistent with your vision? Oh, I think this is the same. Yeah, same. Exactly. Yeah. Same stuff as before. Alright. I think this is right, though. So... Hang on, did I select... Hang on a second. Sight? Is it the lantern, or is it the sound that's the problem? Let's see. Maybe it's this. Oh, okay. So I was just off on what it was. Your benevolence, I've found a new contradiction. You did? No doubt it is but another of your vile attempts to slander my insights. Nope. Take a good look at what the victim saw. It just might change your mind. The lantern flame behind the accused was flickering. There is nothing unusual about that, especially as the wind had stirred. No, that's where you're wrong. If the accused had been standing in the spring, it would be the broken wind. Then what you see here should be one of the lanterns flanking the statue. I fail to see your point. My point is, something is wrong here. The two lanterns flanking the statue were both outfitted with glass wind guards. So neither lantern's flame should have been flickering in the wind in the first place. Heh. She seems pretty tickled, Nick. I don't remember saying anything funny. I fail to see what you wish to prove here, but very well. I shall refine the vision and reveal the truth for all to see. Alright. Oh, blessed Mitama, I beseech you, fix your sight upon the lantern there. So we have to adjust the focus here? Ah, there it is. Ooh. Huh? That lantern doesn't have a wind guard on it. And rightly so. For the wind guard was removed to reveal the sacred flame within for the right of fire. Therefore, there is nothing odd about the flame flickering. But when we searched the crime scene, those lanterns had their wind guards on. That's because the police put them back on. The sacred flames have burned uninterrupted for hundreds of years, defense. We could not risk them being extinguished, even during an investigation. That would never fly back home. Well, Barbed Head, are you done quibbling? If so, then it is time to bow down before this testimony of the Mitama. Yeah! Nick! Don't worry, Maya. I'm just getting started. Alright, let's go over everything we know so far. Maya was wearing Lady Kira's robes and standing in the spring. The High Priest is thought to have been moving toward her. So I should look for sensations that stand in contradiction to this arrangement. Alright. I won't give up. I'm gonna find a contradiction that will undermine the accusation against Maya. So that one was not the slam dunk we were hoping it would be, but like... what is with the broken lantern? I want to know. Something's odd about it. Because it wasn't removed, it was just flat out broken. Let's see. So look for... Yeah, because so Maya is standing in the pool. That's the broken one. That's the broken one. So why is he looking at the broken one? By the spring side lantern. Is this the problem? Is this the problem? Let's see. Objection! I think it is. What could this possibly mean? That lantern clearly contradicts the insight, but this contradiction will overturn the entire case I've been building. Yeah, the problem with this, even though it's reality, but the problem with this is that he would be in the spring looking at Maya, and we would reverse things again, because if she'd be standing there, the broken lantern would be on her right. His right looking at her. So like, yeah, I'm so confused. But that is what it's showing, so we got to figure this one out.
Are you all right, Mr. Wright? 1 minute you shout out and the next you fall silent.
Perhaps it is like the bellow of one who is barreling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is that not right, Prosecutor said Marty? Don't get cold feet now, Phoenix. Even if this overturns the entire case you've built so far, the only way is to keep moving forward, because that's where we'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything with the indisputable contradiction I've found. Is that so? The lantern behind the accused blatantly contradicts your insight. Does it? No. One of the lanterns on the entrance side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch what Abbott Inmee saw in his final moments, you will notice that the lantern behind the praying form of Miss Fey is broken. The lantern behind Lady Kira, however, is still intact. In short, we are seeing two different lanterns in this seance vision. How could this be? And even if it were so, how would that contradict my insights? Yeah. Let me start by saying the claim I'm about to raise will overturn the case I've built thus far.
Will the defense please explain himself?
Based on the broken lantern, we can tell Maya and Abbott Inmee's positions, right? Yeah. Where the accused and the victim were standing.
But did you not just finish asserting that the accused was standing somewhere else?
I did, and I built my argument on that faulty premise. But thankfully, it has led us here, to the actual spot where Maya Fey was standing. This is wild.
I must say, if the defense keeps changing its assertions in such a capricious manner, its credibility may come into question.
I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot where the accused was standing.
Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing.
Based on the location of the broken lantern, where was Maya really standing? Right there. I wasn't thinking straight before, but now it's all falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. That means Maya Fey had to have been standing in the water as he approached. However, his memory, which has only now become clear, reveals that Miss Fey was standing by the side of the broken lantern. In other words, she was standing where she was supposed to be, according to custom. Does that not bring us back to the very beginning? No. This is where things take a different turn. And I mean that literally. And that's because when we swap around, we suddenly see Kira in a whole different angle. That is the weirdness here. The victim had to have been moving toward the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned toward the accused. What's this? Do you mean to say the victim turned around during the rite? But such an image appears nowhere in the seance vision. Actually, it does appear. It's just that no one noticed until now.
No one noticed? How could no one have noticed something so big?
There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell that he was, in fact, turning around in that moment. Yeah. It is as the defense asserts, then her benevolence's insights no longer make sense. How do you intend to explain that? I don't need to explain anything because it's just as you said, Prosecutor Sedmani. Her benevolence's insights don't make any sense because they contain a huge error. Such insolence.
A huge error, you say? Do explain.
The huge error is the order of the rites, the crime scene, the number of people there. I think that's it. I think what happened is he approached Maya and then he heard Kira and turned around. I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra when suddenly he sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see someone dressed as Lady Kira standing there. Oh, that would also explain why he fell forward into the spring. Wishing to see who it was, he approached the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed. This cannot be. Oh, but it can, and it is. The insight stating the accused stabbed the victim is wrong. And that is the real truth lying behind this testimony of the dead.
Pokunka! Are you suggesting that there was someone else at the scene of the crime?
Have I misunderstood the voice of the Mitama yet again? This cannot be! Oh, and she fainted again. Ooh, that was a close one. But I managed to divine the true meaning behind the seance visions somehow. I should add these new facts to the court record. Alright, shows where Maya and the High Priest were during the rite. Cool. Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn the brash accusations of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer. Yes, I shall place my trust in you.
Are you sure about this, Prosecutor Sedmani?
My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time, I have learned to perform last rites for souls in trials lacking a seance.
Yes, of course. Forgive my ludicrous inquiry.
Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. I will show you all the most magnificent last rites ever seen. I guess he really does think highly of Emma and her forensic expertise. I'm impressed that he's come to understand their value. Then again, he is an international prosecutor who solved tough cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh?
And now then, let us continue with today's proceedings. Could the defense please tell us who the third party dressed as Lady Kira was? Your new claim has negated the insights of the royal priestess, so I trust you have some evidence to support it, correct?
Yes, of course. This third party must have really wanted to kill the high priest. I might be able to identify who it was if I had evidence of their murderous intent.
Well, we're waiting, Mr. Wright.
The evidence that can reveal the identity of the third party is this. The prayer of Warbot arrow. Is it the wanted poster? Because, like, that... Do not perform the rite. I know what you're planning, Lady Kira. The Warbot arrow, which we know was used to pin... Is it Lady Kira's warning that we present? And I remember what she said about the water in the spring was already stained red when Abbot Inmi and Maya arrived. Which is weird. Let's go ahead and present this. I'm gonna save again, because we've already gotten 2 dings. I don't want to get another. Overwrite the save. Yep. Let's do it. Let's do it. Alright. Lady Kira's warning. 3 days. Oh, that's right. We got it. 3 days before the purification rite. The victim received a warning letter from an unidentified individual.
He did?
Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the high priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the high priest was murdered.
Who do you suppose sent that letter?
A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself.
Peace? I don't understand. I had heard that Lady Kira, that has been in the news of late, only hunted rebels. If so, why would she have killed the high priest?
Excellent question. Come on, follow that logical line there, Judge. Maybe it would help to think of it this way. What if the high priest had secretly been a rebel? The high priest? He couldn't possibly have been a rebel.
The high priest, a devout follower of Kyrainism? A rebel? Do you even comprehend the blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you?
I, too, found it hard to believe at first, but as I continued my investigation, it started to become more and more plausible. The third party was the rebel hunting Lady Kira, and the high priest was a rebel. Your mockery of Kyrainism, no, of the kingdom of Kyrain itself, knows no bounds. Whoops. The shameless Pokunan lawyer. He's making a mockery of our religion.
As a faithful Kyrainist, I take issue with these claims, and I am loath to admit them in today's proceedings.
I don't like where this is going. The defense's claims are but vile blasphemy, tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother. Is it really that big of a deal, Maya? Abbot Inmi was a distinguished monk, and very well respected too, so... yeah. Well, it's not like I got the head monk of Temple arrested for murder just a couple days ago. Please don't let this turn into an international incident. But fear not, good people of Karine. The rantings of this putrid-brained lawyer, who seeks to sully the soul of the deceased, shall come to no avail once I conclude these last rites. The prosecution's assertion that the accused killed the victim remains unchanged. But the victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How was that possible when he had his back turned toward Miss Fey? Someone else must have killed him. Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The karmic flow of this trial is as yet still in my hands. How can he be so confident? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove that by calling a new witness to the stand. An eyewitness who will deliver a definitive answer that will dispel the defense's doubts. An eyewitness?
Very well, let us call this eyewitness to the stand.
Huh. Is this guy? Really? It's him again.
Well now, he has to be the shaggiest witness I've ever laid eyes upon.
Almost like it's a disguise.
Please state your name and occupation. Oh, you know, that so-and-so, whatchamacallit.
What? Anonymous TBD? No! Anonymous TBD. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
At least that's what they've been calling me. TBD, as in to be determined? Can't you just tell us your real name?
The witness has suffered a blow to the head, rendering him amnesiac. Therefore, I named him Anonymous TBD in my report, but he thinks TBD is part of his name. The game is really taking the names to the next level. Yeah, they really are. You're letting an amnesiac testify? Have no fear. I have already questioned him at length. While it is true he has utterly forgotten his name and past, his memory of what he witnessed is still very much intact.
Considering the dearth of information, any new knowledge may be of help. Therefore, I will permit his testimony. Now, Mr. Imus, please tell us what you saw.
Witness testimony, okay. What do we got? The night of the murder. Yeah, I wonder about this.
That night, I was up at the top of Mount Pony Pony, the mountain next to the inner sanctum. I hate crowds, so I climbed up there to pray in peace. I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around, I used my binoculars to spy on the right at the inner sanctum. That's when I saw the accused stab the high priest with a dagger.
Really? There's no way you saw Miss Fey stab the victim with a dagger. I swear I don't know what he's talking about. I don't remember at any rate.
Mount Pony Pony? The beautiful mountain that is also known as the Little Sanctum.
They must be talking about that smaller mountain from the poster.
Mr. Imus, I was wondering, what can I do for you for? The inner sanctum lies at a high elevation where clouds and fog can obscure the view. Are you sure you were able to see what happened from the mountaintop next to it?
Good point. His Majesty raises an excellent question. Well, Mr. Imus?
On the day of the rite, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. I had a perfect view. If you don't believe me, check the weather forecast in the paper that day.
Nick, don't we have the newspaper for that day? Yeah, let's take a look. The area, it does say calm, clear skies, doesn't it? Yeah. Be warned, however, that we'll see a cold front move in overnight. Interesting. I wonder if that's key.
See? Told you so.
May 9th newspaper updated in the court record.
Well, it would appear that the witness has offered testimony worth hearing.
Mr. Imus, I too have a question for you. Didn't he already question the witness?
Well, that's what I'm here for, right? Shoot!
How was the accused holding the dagger? Was she holding it underhanded? Its blade protruding from the bottom of her hand?
Yep, I believe she was. It's called a reverse grip.
I thought as much.
Oh, he's trying to argue that she stabbed him from the front.
Still. Hold it right there. What bearing does that have on this case? Catch up, Phoenix. Cease your interruptions, you putrid-headed lawyer. Do you not see the significance in how the blade was held? Why don't you enlighten me, O enlightened one? Yeah, I knew you were a fool. I could already picture you in your next life.
Next life?
Yes, after your soul writhes for centuries in the pits of hell. You shall be reborn as a witless sea urchin, with barbs limited to your posterior. You shall live a short, inconsequential life, only to be brutally devoured by a sea otter.
That was a bit excessive. I simply asked what the dagger grip had to do with the case.
Now pay attention. How the accused held the dagger is of vital importance. With such information, we can infer exactly what actions she took. You were saying that the victim was killed while he had his back to the accused. Is that correct?
Yes.
As such, the accused's dagger grip tells us something very important. The accused approached the victim from behind, swung her arms around him, and plunged the dagger deep into his abdomen using a reverse grip.
What?
Thus, Mr. Imus's testimony clears up any doubts that might remain.
And it coincides with her benevolence's insights as well.
This is a disaster. I thought I'd blown those insights out of the water, but now they're back to haunt me.
Now then, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
Alright. This is our first testimony after we did the seance. I was up at the top of Mount Pony Pony. I don't know about that one, man. So, I'm not going to present anything yet, but we've got, like, if he was there, how on earth did he see anything? Because the elevation is roughly 12 meters taller. I don't understand how he saw anything with those high walls up, right? Because we had the ritual curtain. A curtain around the perimeter of the sanctum, isolating it from the outside world. The entrance was shut during the rite. How did he see that? It seems, like, blaringly obvious that there's a problem with this, but let's just press for now. Are you sure you're not mistaken, Mr. Imus? Was it really Mount Pony Pony that you climbed?
Oh, I'm sure of it. It was a really ponyish mountain.
What does that even mean?
You know, now that I think about it, it was a mighty fine view.
I hate crowds, so I climbed up there to pray in peace. Yeah. If you hate crowds, why bother climbing to the top? Couldn't you have just as easily prayed at the bottom of Mount Pony Pony?
Wrong, bucko! This is a once-a-year epic event. I wanted to pray as close to the actual thing as possible.
If you're so gung-ho about it, why didn't you go pray at the Plaza of Devotion?
Like I said, I hate crowds. I wanted to pray in peace.
Oh, Holy Mother, why do I only get the annoying ones?
And my burning faith demanded that I climb up the mountain closest to the inner sanctum. Also,
I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around... Since nobody was around, there is nobody who can corroborate your actions, either.
Hee-ho! You're exactly right.
In that case, Mr. Imus, let me ask you this. Was there a reason you didn't want to be seen?
About that. If you get caught climbing the surrounding mountains on the day of the rite, you can get in big, big trouble.
That's it?
Yeah, it's totally embarrassing getting yelled at when you're a grown-up.
Yeah, you're a real grown-up, all right.
And since nobody was around, I lost all inhibition and...
I used my binoculars to spy on the right of the intersection. Nope. Go back. Nuh-uh. You didn't do that. Because there was a ritual curtain.
Objection!
Yes! Got it. Your Majesty. I had my doubts about this bushy, bearded witness, but now I know we can't trust him.
What? You ain't just judging me solely on my bodacious beard, are you?
Not at all, Mr. Imus. It's much more than your sketchy appearance. It's your sketchy testimony.
His testimony, you say?
Yes, recall how the inner sanctum was that day. Specifically that it was completely enclosed by the ritual curtain.
Why, yes, I believe you're right.
The curtain would have completely blocked the witness's view from Mount Pony Pony. Therefore, he couldn't possibly have seen the murder happen.
Mr. Imus, have you been knowingly making false statements to this court? Hey, you got me. The witness will lower his voice. I didn't actually see the accused herself.
He didn't actually see the accused herself. What's this supposed to mean?
Let me set the record straight, I beg you.
Okay. The night of the murder amended.
I saw their shadowy silhouettes projected against the ritual curtain. The figures were created by the light of the full moon on the clear and still night. She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger.
Okay. That's... shadows, that's what you saw?
That's right. I could see what was going on by the shadows projected onto the ritual curtain. In the future, Mr. Imus, I would rather you offer up accurate testimony from the start. Forget me, my main man, Mr. Majesty. Chalk it up to my fuzzy memory.
Though he saw but shadows, it is still valuable testimony. You have to be kidding me. What are we gonna do now, Nick? All I can think of is to look for inconsistencies between the actual rite and what Mr. Imus says he saw.
Now then, the defense may cross-examine the witness once more.
All right, Mr. Anonymous. The night of the murder. I saw their shadowy silhouettes. Okay. So what you saw were simply shadows?
That's right. Those shadowy figures on that bright white curtain, they showed through plain as day. I could see everything that happened.
But Miss Faye and Abbott and me were at the top of a mountain late at night. The only light up there was coming from 4 small lanterns. How could the shadows have been projected that clearly onto the curtain?
No wonder people hop on you lawyers. You're always so dang skeptical. The lanterns weren't the only sources of light, you know.
The figures were created by the light of the full moon, right? You claim to have seen shadowy figures that were projected on the ritual curtain. But did you really see them, Mr. Imus?
Of course I did. The bright moonlight projected them onto that curtain, clear as day. It was like watching a scene out of a horror movie from my front row seat on Mount Pony Pony.
I guess the moon does shine a bit brighter when you're way up there. Maya, do you recall how bright the moon was that night? I remember there weren't any clouds and that the moon was definitely out. But I don't remember if it could cast any shadows. Okay, thanks. We can't deny that the moon was really bright, which means it's possible that it was bright enough to cause shadows to appear.
I remember it just like it happened.
She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger. I mean, how do you tell that? That's what I want to know. Hang on. How do you know it was Miss Faye if all you saw were shadows?
It was that little bun on top of her head. Didn't need to see her face. That distinctive bob's a dead giveaway.
Hang on a second. Well, never mind. I was wondering if the Lady Kira costume could potentially be mistaken for that, but I guess not entirely. No, I don't want to hear the Plume Punisher stuff. I guess not. Because that's more like feathers. It's not the bob.
Never underestimate my keen sense of observation. That's one funny haircut.
It's not nice to make fun of a girl's hairstyle. I like my hair this way. Besides, you're one to talk, you Sasquatch.
You're not into this wild, manly look I'm sporting? Shows what you know, little girl.
Nick, isn't there some kind of a crime you can charge him with? I'm afraid it doesn't work like that. Now he claims he only saw shadows? His testimony is sketchy written all over it. And there must be an inconsistency in there somewhere. Yep. Was he really watching everything from Mount Pony Pony? If so, then I should see how his testimony lines up with the conditions of the rite. Let's see. I see their shadowy silhouettes projected against the ritual curtain. Okay. The figures were created... So, the figures were created by the light of the full moon on that clear and still night. Okay. I saw their shadowy silhouettes projected against the ritual curtain. She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger, and he says it's because of the top knot thing. Okay. I saw their... What do we have? Let's look at the rite guide again. The purification rite is a 3-part ceremony held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony. Hang on a second. The moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony. So... Alright, the moon would be up in here, right? So the light it would be casting... It would show on this side, not on the other side. Right? So, yeah, that's where we've got a problem, I think. Let's see. Projected against the ritual curtain. Okay. The figures are created by the light of the full moon. It wouldn't work that way. Right? I think I'm thinking this through, right? That if the full moon was up, then if the moon was there, you would not be seeing them where he supposedly said he saw them. So he would be here, he'd be looking through here, and he'd be seeing through this wall. If the moon was over here, casting light there, he could see the shadows, but there he would not see the shadows. So I think that's what we have to deal with here. So let's present the rights guide, because I think the fact that it specifically says the moon is directly over the summit of Pony Pony is when the rite begins. So let's see.
Objection!
You saw silhouettes projected by the moonlight? Sorry, but that's just not possible.
What do you mean? How's it not possible that it was totally possible? That's impossible.
I think I'm going to need a logical Lee's translation on that. Let's take a look at this rites guide, shall we, Mr. Imus? The rite is held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony.
Doot, doot, doot.
So if the moon was shining from the west, any shadows would have been cast eastward. But Mr. Imus was standing to the west of the inner sanctum on Mount Pony Pony.
Oh, holy mother!
That's right. Our witness here couldn't have seen any shadowy figures on that curtain.
No way! Perhaps it was the sacred flames of the lantern that cast the shadows he saw.
I'm afraid not. I inspected them during my investigation, but the flames were too small to cast the crisp, distinct figures Mr. Imus claims to have seen.
But I did see those silhouettes, really.
But how could he, Nick? Maybe he was someplace where they were visible. Wait, don't tell me. Oh! Hang on. The prayer flags that we found them on this side. So was he climbing the fence? Your Majesty, if Mr. Imus really did see those shadows, it brings a brand new fact to light.
And that would be?
The brand new fact that comes to light if Mr. Imus really did see those shadows is he was somewhere else. He wasn't where he claimed to be at the time of the murder.
Oh, where do you propose the witness was?
Someplace where he could have seen the shadowy figures naturally. Wait, you mean... None of the mountains east of the inner sanctum are close enough for a good view. That leaves only one place he could have clearly seen the shadows from.
And where might that be?
This is where Mr. Imus was at the time of the murder. The Plaza of Devotion, he was in the inner sanctum. Yeah, he was there. Mr. Imus was at the inner sanctum, just outside the curtain on the east side. That's the only place from which he could have seen the shadowy figures.
Hoo-ha!
Really? Wow. I didn't even think of that.
But wasn't the inner sanctum off limits to all but the victim and the accused?
And the third party who was there, you mean? I get the feeling that's a subject Prosecutor Sedmati would rather not touch right now.
You mean...
That's right. This witness was at the scene of the crime, which means he is the mysterious third party we saw during the divination seance. He could be the one who dressed as Lady Kira and killed the High Priest.
Gee! What?
No one but the two participants were allowed anywhere near the inner sanctum, and the only way up there are the stairs that start down at the Plaza of Devotion. So tell me, how do you propose the witness entered that sacred space? Oh, he must have, I haven't thought that far ahead.
The sanctum is sheer cliffs on three sides and a steep, towering rock face on the other. No one could have made it there by climbing the faces of those cliffs.
His Majesty speaks true. To say Mr. Imus was at such an inaccessible location is but a bid to tarnish his credibility. Is that not right?
You're right. I wasn't at the inner sanctum. No, sir. No how. Well, at least I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
Then what about those silhouettes you claim to have seen?
I'm starting to think I've been imagining things.
What? This is insane. I knew we couldn't trust that lawyer. He's trying to frame the witness.
Peace! Peace, I say!
This is impossible. Unless I can show how he got to the inner sanctum. It just looks like I'm trying to slander Mr. Imus. I believe in you, Nick.
Rah, rah, sis boom bah, fight, fight, Phoenix Wright.
Just look at the accused. She has no shame. What's your problem, lady? Phoenix Wright is very trustworthy, I'll have you know.
She's got some nerve for a criminal.
LOL, what? The witness just said he imagined everything and somehow that makes Phoenix look bad? I don't get it either. I don't get it either. Phoenix man bad. Please, Maya, you're only making it worse. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but it's probably best to keep it to yourself for now.
I would advise the defense to think carefully before making any more sudden outbursts.
Yes, Your Majesty. If it wasn't the bad guy before, I definitely am now. Now, Mr. Imus, I would like you to think back carefully before you testify next about where you were that night. I wasn't at the inner sanctum.
I was never at the inner sanctum, I tell you. That much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory. Besides, it would have been impossible to get there in the first place. Boy, you lawyers sure are scary.
I guess it might have been impossible for him to get to the inner sanctum like he claims, but... Now, will you desist in trying to frame this innocent witness?
Yeah, I'd like to see you explain how we got up there. Mr. Wright, is it not time to end these cross-examinations?
A moment of desperation leads to 100 million years of torment. It means that for each moment a sinner spends struggling to deny their sins, 100 million years of torment are added to their time in hell. Quirinism is the strictest religion ever. And just so you know, you've already accrued 200 million extra years. Plus the 5 they started with. That's 700 million years! Sure, what's another 200 million, give or take? Well, it's a big deal to me. I can't keep saying that the witness was there at the inner sanctum if I can't prove it. The problem is, how am I going to do that? Cross-examination. I wasn't at the inner sanctum. Okay, here we go. I was never at the inner sanctum. Alright. Are you sure you weren't there?
All I'm sure of is that you're deeply skeptical. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, are all lawyers always like this?
Most certainly. They always try to pin crimes on innocent witnesses without any proof whatsoever. They are no better than bacteria or viruses.
Yikes, you mean he's contagious? He's gonna give me lawyeritis.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous.
Well, that was a close one. He almost put me there at the scene of the crime when I wasn't even there.
That's much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory. You just said your memory was fuzzy.
I sure did. What's the big deal?
I'll tell you what. Your testimony isn't very credible if your memory of the events is fuzzy.
Oh, no worries there. My memory may be fuzzy, but I'm very clear on one thing.
Here we go again.
If you ask me whether or not I remember what I did that night, I'd say I do. In short, you are confident that your testimony is true. Is that correct, Mr. Imus? Exactly! I guess you don't get to be a judge for nothing. So, in closing, I can clearly say that I was totally not there.
Besides, it would have been impossible to get there in the first place. Okay? I wonder if it really was impossible for you to get to the inner sanctum. If you have something to say, just say it. Couldn't there have been another way to get there? A way that wouldn't attract attention?
No, there isn't.
Which means there is.
Perhaps the defense would share its theory with us.
I don't even have a wild guess, let alone a theory, though. Time to reach into my bag of bluffs. I love it. I love it. To reach the inner sanctum without attracting any attention. He climbed up from the cliff. He came from the plaza. He fell from the sky. Okay. What did I say when this guy got introduced last time? I said he is totally the escaped prisoner. So here's what I think. I think, because they said the prison is on top of the mountain, right? So I think he dropped down, and I think that the red water was his signal for where to go. I think there was some sort of a way to get him to escape the prison, and Abbott in me might have been in on it. But Lady Kira showed up and killed somebody. That's my current theory so far. So I am actually going to say he fell from the sky. As crazy as that sounds, I think I'm going to go with it. Maybe you fell from the sky.
The lawyer thinks he's a comedian now.
I was wondering what crazy theory you would propose next. Well, defense, let's hear it. Mr. Imus could have parachuted down. We already know the weather was clear, and there was no wind to speak of. Perfect weather for skydiving, I'd say. Now that you have been backed into a corner, your delusions grow ever more delusional. The inner sanctum is on a tiny ledge upon a sheer cliff over 2,000 meters tall. One misstep and a skydiver would soon find themselves in the Twilight Realm. And there it is. There's the prison. That's our first shot of it.
Yeah, I don't care how still the wind was. Even I couldn't have made that jump.
Wait, what's this building on top of the sacred mountain? That is Royal Penitentiary number 4. Oh, right. Princess Rafa mentioned there was a prison up there. How do you get your prisoners up there anyway? By helicopter, but only with authorization from the Minister of Justice. He is the only one who can approve flights that pass over the inner sanctum. Ah, okay. So it's Inga who does that. Might I also add, defense, that no parachute or any other equipment necessary for skydiving have been found.
Are you saying I flew down there by flapping my arms? I may be an incredible dude, but even I'm not capable of that.
Well, please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Imus. What did you say? It's not like I can fly through the air either. Okay. Interesting. He didn't have to fly because remember we found the sanctum prayer flags? Is that it? Prayer flags found outside of the ritual curtain. They have been sewn together into a long banner. Is that it? That's what I'm wondering. I think it is. It's not like you can fly through the air either. So you didn't need to fly. You could use the prayer flags. Let's see. Objection! I think it did it. Mr. Imus is right. He couldn't have skydived down there without any gear.
Well, now, finally come around, have you? And now you see that I couldn't have possibly been there at the inner sanctum.
Right. If you didn't have any gear, that is.
Well, what on earth are you talking about?
That overreaction is a dead giveaway that I'm on the right track. Take a look at this piece of evidence.
Those are prayer flags, are they not?
Yes, but they have been sewn together to create one big banner. A banner that could also function like a parachute. Oh, I thought it was going to be like a rope. The people of Kurain are so used to seeing prayer flags that the police didn't even think twice about these flags during their investigation. No, this cannot be. The witness landed at the inner sanctum by using these prayer flags as a parachute. Is that not right, Mr. Imus?
There's no way out. I'm surrounded.
Mr. Imus?
All this talk's jogging my memory. I guess I was there at the inner sanctum after all. Ugh.
As I suspected, there were 3 people there that night. You did it, Nick. You were wrong after all. Thanks. Mr. Imus, you were the one disguised as Lady Kira that night, weren't you?
What? No way. No how. It's like this. Oh yeah. I was only there at the inner sanctum by accident.
By accident?
Exactly. And that thing's not a parachute. It's a homemade paraglider.
A paraglider? Are you telling me you could fly using that patchwork mess of material?
It may not look like much, but it's as sturdy as can be. I rode the wind like an eagle, going higher and higher from my earthly launching point. But then something happened that forced me to land at the inner sanctum.
So you just happened to land there? You expect me to believe that?
Now, please calm yourself, Mr. Wright. However, the fact that the witness was at the inner sanctum is crucial testimony indeed, and it certainly warrants further explication. Therefore, let's continue with more testimony.
All right, this guy who has lied continuously, we're going to let him keep testifying. Makes sense to me. Why I was at the inner sanctum.
That evening, I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the inner sanctum. As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory. So you see, I ended up at the inner sanctum purely by accident.
Mr. Imus, you failed to mention any of this during your pre-trial questioning.
Can't be helped. I mean, I'm just remembering it now.
Continue such slipshod testimony, and you'll be cast into the hell of hangnails, where you shall have hangnails grown and ripped out for 800 million years.
Hoo-ha! I think I'll pass on that.
Looks like that caught prosecutor Said Mahdi off guard. This is my chance to rip his case to shreds. The hell of hangnails, that does sound pretty rough. Why was it the inner sanctum? Okay. That evening. Homemade paraglider. Okay. You were enjoying a trek through the night sky with your homemade paraglider? You didn't go to pray?
A devout Kuranese like me can pray anywhere, even while flying through the sky. But I wouldn't recommend you try it. You're bound to end up dead.
A paraglider? I didn't see anything like that.
That's because of the ritual curtain. It blocked your view. You should have seen me, majestically soaring between the mountains.
Really? What do you think, Nick? Don't ask me.
I was really enjoying that flight. At first, anyway.
But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened. Okay. Something terrible happened.
Exactly. And when I say terrible, I mean terrible.
What? Was there something unexpected near Mount Pony?
What was it again?
Wait, you don't remember?
Let's just say it was terrible.
Okay. Wow. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the inner sanctum. What exactly was this accident you had?
Good question. Now, what was it again? The wind? Oh, yeah, it was the wind. Not just any wind, but a sudden gale force wind made me lose control.
Hang on a second. The area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today. The warmer temperature will make for excellent prayer weather. Be warned that we'll see a cold front move in overnight. This is incorrect, I think. Like this, his statement, we can get on this. The wind was strong enough to make you lose control?
You got that right.
Okay, then, please add that to your testimony. He accidentally the paraglider. The whole paraglider, even. The whole paraglider. Yeah. Alright. Gale force winds came out of nowhere, so I made an emergency landing at the sanctum. Yep, there's the problem. Nope. We have a saying in my country, Mr. Imus, from one lie sprouts another.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
It means someone caught lying will lie again and attempt to conceal their first lie. In other words, this current testimony is just a blatant lie you're telling to cover your tracks.
What did you just say?
You claimed gale force winds caused you to lose control, but this newspaper has the weather report for the day of the murder. It says, the area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today.
Pukunka! Why, I believe it does say that.
From one lie sprouts another. That makes sense, but is it really a saying back home? I've never heard of it. Yeah, I kind of made that one up. For real. Your Majesty, the witness's testimony contains another flaw, one that's even more fatal to his cause.
More fatal, you say? The defense will explain himself at once.
Mr. Imus claims he was flying up around the inner sanctum with his paraglider, but it would have been impossible to get all the way up there without any wind.
Why, yes, I believe you're right. But we know the witness was at the inner sanctum, so... Mr. Imus, how did you get there? And from where?
Without any wind, he couldn't have flown up there from the bottom of the mountain. By process of elimination, the only starting point that makes any sense is... Your Majesty, I believe I have the answer to your question. To reach the inner sanctum, Mr. Imus must have launched himself from here. The prison, right? Yeah. That seems very, very obvious. So... I don't want to psych myself out, but just he had to have escaped from the prison, right? He's the escaped guy. He's him. He's this guy. That's horrible. That's horrible. Yeah. Yeah. Senior member of the insurgent leadership. It's him. It's got to be.
Hoo-ha! Are you insane? That's where he came from?
If he couldn't have come from below, the only other option is from above. So you see, Anonymous came down from Royal Penitentiary number 4. From there, he could have easily reached the inner sanctum by parachute. And that means he might have also killed the High Priest.
What?
Mr. Imus, were you the third party at the inner sanctum? And the one behind the warning to halt the right that the victim received? Was it you we saw in his final memory? Are you the rebel hunter, Lady Kira?
Hoo-ha!
I don't think he is. I don't think he's the rebel hunter.
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sir, help me out here.
You did it. You finally left him speechless.
Oh, come on, Mr. Prosecutor, man.
Quiet, you fool. You should use this time to prepare yourself for what is to come. For a fate far worse than hangnail hell awaits you now. Well done, defense. I must concede this point to you. The witness did, in fact, descend to the inner sanctum from Royal Penitentiary number 4. Huh? He didn't even put up a fight this time. That's awfully generous of him. But if you are as perceptive as you seem, Then surely you've already figured out the riddle. The riddle of Anonymous's true identity. Oh, his true identity? Not sure I know quite yet, but I guess I'll have to answer with something.
It would seem I am the only one still in the dark here. Would the defense care to enlighten me? Who is this man we've been calling Anonymous?
Well, the witness's true identity is... wanted poster. Is this really him? Only now do you realize the truth. Well, please do share with us your belated insight. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you holding back? Because this isn't going to be very helpful to our case. Really? Are you sure? Unfortunately, I've got no other choice. That scruffy beard and shaggy mane completely threw me off. But it's all becoming clear now. The nighttime base jump from the mountaintop prison, the precision landing at the inner sanctum using only a homemade parachute. Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. This witness is Datsaribal, prison escapee and key member of Dirk's rebel group.
What?
Yeah!
The witness is an escaped prisoner?
Precisely. The police have been scouring every corner of the city to no avail. Meanwhile, here he was, under our noses the entire time.
Hoo-ha! Didn't think anyone would see through my clever disguise.
But the witness's charade is not all that has been shattered. It is defense? Boy, do I hate this guy. Please recall the defense's own words. Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the high priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the high priest was murdered.
Who do you suppose sent that letter?
A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself. He claimed that the real killer was the rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira. Yeah, and what's your point? What of the witness's true identity? Only a paratrooper, or more precisely a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. This witness is Datsaribal, prison escapee, and key member of Dirk's rebel group. Yeah. Oh no. He is a rebel and an escaped prisoner. He could not possibly have been Lady Kira, mortal enemy of the rebels. No! Now, perhaps the witness will enlighten us to the truth. Flashbacks to a minute ago, classic Phoenix Wright. It really is. It's like we just had that text dialogue, but we're going to flash back to it. After all, he has yet to refute any of this.
Hoo-ha! You got me. I'm the razor-sharp fangs of the defiant dragons. Datsaribal!
When did you get your memory back?
Oh, around the time you guys were talking about there being no wind. But you gotta give me credit for making up all that testimony off the top of my head.
Are you prepared to tell us the truth now?
Well, it's true I parachuted down to the inner sanctum, but I banged my head on impact and ended up unconscious outside the ritual curtain. In short, all my eyewitness testimony was a big fat lie.
A big fat lie?
Oh, and by the way, long time no see, Yudi.
Wait, they know each other? Your Majesty, this filthy rebel belongs in a jail cell.
Oh, yes, of course. Bailiff, seize him at once. Seems you really have forgotten the will of the dragon, huh, Yudi? But I haven't, and no dogs of the Garon regime are gonna lay a figure on me. Alley-oop!
Deploy all available resources. I want all units placed on high alert. Ah, he got away.
The escaped prisoner escaped again.
The police force has been placed on high alert. He will be caught before long. An escaped prisoner who has escaped the law again after giving a ton of false testimony? Talk about a troublemaker. He really pulled a number on all of us. What was the point of all that anyway?
Well, I can't help but feel that entire episode was an enormous waste of time.
Your Majesty, perhaps it was not as great of a waste of time as you might believe.
What makes you say that, Prosecutor Sadmati?
Datsari Bal dropped something as he made his escape from these halls. That scrap of paper looks awfully familiar. These appeared to be direct orders from Dirk.
From Dirk, the rebel leader? Oh, but we only have a small corner of it.
Wait, I remember now. Your Majesty, I've seen that scrap of paper before.
You have?
The scrap of paper Datsari Bal dropped is a part of this. Is it that? Yeah, it's that, right? The bloody note. And this
is?
I found it at the scene of the crime. It appears to be a copy of the order that Mr. Aribal dropped. If we put the two together, we should be able to read what the order says. Alright.
Oh my, and just what it say? Does it say, Mr. Wright?
It's a part of my attorney's badge, and I love it. Yeah, I love it. I can't read Koreanese.
Prosecutor Sadmati, if you please.
The ignorant lawyer has not bothered to learn our language. Very well, then. I do not understand. Well, what does it say? Using the lamplights as a landmark, he was to parachute down to the inner sanctum. Upon the rite's completion, he was to don Lady Kira's robes and make his escape.
What? That was how he was to escape from prison?
So if I were to assume that Mr. Aribal was the one who killed the High Priest, then maybe it was because Abbot Inme tried to thwart his escape plan? Oh, foul lawyer, I'm afraid that is simply ludicrous. Huh? But I didn't say anything! Did he just read my mind? Many people do, don't worry about it. I know how your putrid mind works. Unfortunately for you, however, now that the rebels' escape plan has been revealed, it is clear that Datsari Bal is not the High Priest's killer. How can you be so sure? If only you would use that putrid brain of yours every once in a while. Datsari Bal's plan could not have worked without the help of a certain individual. What do you mean? I am speaking of Abbot Inme, of course. Had Datsari Bal simply donned Lady Kira's robes and made his escape alone, he would have been far too conspicuous. But were he by the High Priest's side, the faithful citizens praying in the plaza would have had no cause to suspect anything. It is therefore unthinkable that Datsari Bal was the High Priest's killer.
Oh! So then you're saying the High Priest was a... Oh! I cannot bear to say it!
I'm afraid it is so. He numbered among the rebels who threaten our kingdom.
How could this be?
The High Priest? A rebel? There must be some kind of mistake. No. Nope. And guess who brought that up? We did. Let it go and move on. Accept the truth. It is the only way. And that goes double for you, defense. Cease your futile battle now. And why should I? Because I will now put the final nail in the coffin of the accused. Now that we have eliminated Dats Aribal from our list of suspects, there is only one person that still remains, the accused, Maya Fey.
Hold it right there.
Aren't you forgetting something important?
Something important? Well, please do explain, defense.
We can't end this trial without looking into the arrow, the murder weapon, the third party. Well, he's not the Lady Kira. We have the threat. We have the... Whoever sent this, Lady Kira's warning with the Warbod arrow that was used to deliver it. So it has to be the third party. I'm talking about the true identity of the Lady Kira we saw in the Seance vision. If that wasn't Datsari Ball, then who was it? That matter has already been resolved.
It has?
What was he talking about? It is as I have maintained from the start. There was no third party in the Seance vision. But there was another Lady Kira there beside Maya Fey. We all saw her. What the? Hey, I can't do my finger point. Oh no.
Ah!
Oh no, he's blocked his finger chi. It is time to let it go and move on. Your fate has already been sealed, much like your arm. This hardly seems fair. It is quite simple once you consider where the victim and the accused were at the time. If the victim was near the spring with his back to the accused, what would he see ahead?
Besides the water itself, there was nothing but the Warbot statue.
Precisely. Lady Kira we saw in the seance is the Warbod statue draped in her sacred robes.
No way!
The accused wanted the false Lady Kira to appear in the seance vision before she came from behind and stabbed the victim with the dagger in a reverse grip.
But why would the accused want to do something like create a false Lady Kira?
To show it to the victim as he was being slain.
And what reason would the accused have to fool the victim she was about to kill?
He was not the victim she was trying to fool. It was this very court itself.
Come again?
Suspicion would not fall on the accused if it looked as if another Lady Kira was there. And the defense was foolish enough to fall for it and claim it was a third party in disguise.
Are you saying?
I am. It was all a cleverly wicked scheme perpetrated by the accused. A scheme in which she sought to use the seance vision to mislead us. This can't be happening. What a face you are making, defense. I'm surprised you're taking this so hard. After all, did I not clearly state a while back that you were chasing after naught but a deluded fantasy? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. You're telling me he knew this is how it would turn out all the way back then? And that he was just waiting for the most effective moment to spring it on me? Do you understand now? I have had you dancing in the palm of my hand this entire time.
It can't be. This is an outrage! You took our royal priestess's sacred divination seance and used it to commit this most foul and despicable murder?
No, I did nothing of the sort. Maya, Nick, it's not true. I didn't. Cease this ugly display. Your fate is sealed now that the facts have been exposed. Your Majesty, the time has come to convict this criminal who only seeks to taint this sacred hall.
Indeed, it seems this trial is over. Does the defense wish to offer up yet another counter-argument or something?
The accused is not the killer. And, here's why. Now what do? I've got nothing. Yeah, we got nothing.
It would appear that the defense has run out of arguments to make.
I thought for sure that rebel was the killer. The only person with a possible motive, the one dressed as Lady Kira, has vanished. So if it's not him, if he's not the killer, we haven't even talked to this guy, Pure Zealot. I'm wondering if one of these two killed him. His own wife might have. That, like, from a dramatic angle, it would be interesting if his wife killed him, because she might be, you know, two sides of the rebellion of the war kind of thing. I don't know. Right now, though, things are looking bad. And I've got nothing to use against Prosecutor Sadmati's argument. Damn it, I can't lose now. Not like this.
Very well, then. I shall now render my verdict.
Wait! Please, wait, I'm begging you. It is time to let it go and move on.
This trial need not be drawn out any longer. The defense has failed to counter the charge filed by the prosecution. In accordance with the law, I invoke the Defense Culpability Act against the defense. Now then, this court finds the accused Maya Fey and the defense Phoenix Wright.
Oh, we actually got a... Ooh. Ah!
Your Majesty, please forgive the interruption, but...
Hey.
What is the meaning of this?
A body has been found.
In the Plaza of Devotion, Your Majesty.
What's this? A body, huh? A body? What happened now?
And we found this sticking out of the victim.
Wait a minute. Is Maya off the hook because of that?
Wait, that's Lady Kira's Wabba dagger.
Lady Kira. She's returned from the Twilight Well once more. She's come to defeat the rebels. Wait, did that Ball get killed?
Peace!
Well, it would seem the dagger that was once lost has now been found.
I have one more thing to report, Prosecutor Sedmati.
Yes.
This dagger. It bears the fingerprints of Maya Fey on it.
What? They already dusted it for prints? But why would Maya's prints be on it? I cannot believe it. Yet it must be true.
Is something the matter, Prosecutor Sadmati?
This trial has run its course and the accused's guilt has been firmly established. However, it would seem the defense was right about one thing.
I was?
You claim that the murder at the inner sanctum had been carried out by the rebel hunter, masquerading as Lady Kira. I did say something to that effect, but what of it?
Prosecutor Sadmati, are you suggesting what I think you are?
I believe the true identity of the rebel hunter who has been masquerading as Lady Kira is none other than the accused, Miss Maya Fey.
What?
Me?
What?
Oh, okay. This is an interesting wrinkle. I realize how shocking this must seem. Looking back, however, I now realize there was much that pointed to this fact. The rebel hunting Lady Kira was first sighted about 2 years ago. and the accused first came to our kingdom 2 years ago as well.
Well, why, the timing matches perfectly.
But there is more. That warning letter was found in the High Priest's bedroom 3 days before the rite, despite his house being locked up tight that night. How does that prove anything? It is difficult to believe an intruder could have found a way to enter such a secure house. However, the accused was known to come and go freely there, mainly to prepare for the purification rite. Ah! So what is this gonna mean? Yeah, a ton of duties, including training acolytes, kind to a foreigner. Yeah, whenever I was between training sessions, right. Are they gonna let her off the hook because she's doing the good thing for the good guys, or what? I know it's not it's obviously not her, but are they gonna assume it's her? I don't know. The accused could have easily left the house unlocked for herself without anyone noticing. No! Lady Kira's warning updated in the court record. If we assume that the accused was Lady Kira, that more than establishes her motive for killing the High Priest.
Yes, the victim was secretly an insurgent, bent on helping Datsawe Ball escape, after all.
Precisely. That made him a target of Lady Kira's wrath. And after killing the High Priest, she then unleashed her divine justice on another rebel. So it seems the scope of this case has expanded. We now have 2 murders perpetrated by Miss Maya Fey, masquerading as Lady Kira. Oh, okay. So we gotta convict her of the second one, is what he's saying.
If Miss Fey is indeed a serial killer, it would affect the severity of her punishment. In light of this, I believe this second murder must be investigated before we can proceed.
As you wish, Your Majesty. Maya Fey, I hereby charge you with this second murder. May your defiled soul feel the weight of your sins. A new murder charge on top of a guilty verdict?
It seems the defense will live to see one more day.
Talk about hanging on by a thread. Come tomorrow, a far more terrible punishment awaits you.
I hereby suspend these proceedings so that the second murder may be investigated. Until the conclusion of this new investigation, this court is adjourned.
To be continued. Woo. Wow. All right. Well, we will go until for about 40 more minutes. I'm just going to take a quick break, and then I'll be right back, and we can do a little bit more. All right. Let's do a little bit more of our investigation. May 11th, 1:03 p.m., Temple. What do I do now? I can't believe Maya and I were actually found guilty. Yes, we have ourselves a flashback to the thing that just happened. Once again, yes, we know they were just declared guilty, and as a result of the Defense Culpability Act, Phoenix is also on the hook for whatever happens to Maya. Very dramatic. Okay. More, even. Mr. Wright! Albie, I saw the whole trial. What's gonna happen to Miss Maya now? I'm worried about that too. But right now... Investigator, this dagger. Yeah, we're recapping things like extra big today. Right now, I need to focus on the next trial. The murder of Acolyte Zealot, right? Oh! Wait. Pure Zealot? He was killed too? Interesting. At least the jury is still out on that one, so to speak. Two murders are most likely connected. If I can get to the bottom of Acolyte Zealot's murder, it might give me the ammunition I need to overturn Maya's guilty verdict. Let me help you investigate. I want to assist you any way I can. I appreciate it, Albie, but we're talking about a murder. Yeah, but it's going to be hard for a foreigner to investigate this on his own. You have a point there. I wish I knew what to do. Why does Rafa look upset? Huh? Isn't that your benevolence? Princess Rafa? Huh? Oh, it is you again. The dead lawyer walking, guilty of abetting a murderer under the Defense Culpability Act. Ugh! I see she hasn't lost any of her charm. Why the long face? I thought you'd be glad I was found guilty under the DC Act. I am in no mood to take joy in your suffering. For I was unable to defeat you and had to leave the job to others. I failed in my sacred duty as the royal priestess. I guess that answers my question. If I misunderstood the voice of the Mitama yet again. Right. Yeah. He was very upset. All I did was defend my client. Ugh, I can't bear to see her looking so sad like this, though. Your benevolence. Your benevolence! Huh? Oh. Barbed head. I thought you had already begun your journey to the Twilight Realm. I'm not dead yet. I still have an investigation to do for tomorrow's trial. What's this? Do you mean to say you have not given up yet? That's right. I'm gonna prove Maya innocent tomorrow. But why? Why do you refuse to give up? I cannot fathom such obstinacy. Investigate all you want. I care not. You really don't mind? But aren't you worried that a lawyer backed into a corner by the DC Act might do something desperate like forge evidence? What's this? If left unsupervised, I'd be free to do whatever I wanted, you know? Is he manipulating her into being his companion for the day? Okay, now to see if she takes the bait. Oh, he is, okay. Yes, I see your point. Barbed head. Yes? I know what happened yesterday. You perpetrated some sort of fraud or other misdeed while I was not watching. Huh? That explains why I misunderstood the voice of the High Priest's soul. Yes, of course. That is the only explanation. I was just trying to cheer her up. Now she thinks even less of me. I must not allow you to sully our sacred hall of justice with your misdeeds ever again. Therefore, today, I will be monitoring your every move once more. I will not fail to spot your misdeeds this time. The moment I see anything out of the ordinary, I will send you straight to prison. And you, boy, do not throw your lot in with this foreign devil. But your benevolence... It's okay, Albie. You don't need to worry about me. I'll be back before you know it. But first, I should probably lighten my load a bit. Albie, would you mind holding on to some evidence for me? Of course not. I'm always glad to help. Unnecessary evidence unloaded onto Albie. So what did we lose? Oh, not yet. Not yet. Didn't trigger yet. May the Holy Mother's blessings be upon you. Alright. Now then... Oh wow, we lost a lot. So the newspaper, the autopsy report, the sanctum photo, statement of Maya, Lady Kira's warning, the plumed Punisher strap. Yeah. And the inner sanctum diagram. Okay. So we're kind of going back to some basics here. I really do think it was Believe who did it. Now then, the scene of the crime is the logical place to start. If I recall correctly, the body was found at the Plaza of Devotion. Let's go! The Plaza of Devotion. May 11th, Plaza of Devotion. Looks like the police already finished their investigation. I think someone would be killed here, a police devoted to prayer. So he was killed right where he was. A body outline and flowers? Did someone leave them here in memory of the deceased? Huh? And there's something different about the prayer flags today. As the high priest's disciple, acolyte zealot, was utterly devoted to his training. First the high priest, and now his devoted disciple. Maya Fey will pay for this. As I keep trying to tell you, Maya has nothing to do with any of this. And you can prove this. How? What do you think I'm doing here? Gathering dirt and dust for the trial? You and your smart mouth. This is precisely why you and your lawyerly ilk are so reviled. Hey, Mr. Wright. Emma! It's that detective from your country again. Eep! It's the princess! You seem displeased that I am here. Oh, no, don't be silly. Mr. Wright, I'm so sorry about what happened to Maya. It's not your fault, Emma. You were just doing your job. And if I had just done mine... Mr. Wright... But it's no use crying over spilled milk. Would you mind telling me what you know about the murder? It's do or die in court tomorrow, and I mean that literally. Gladly. I'll help in any way I can. Remember, I have my eyes on the both of you, so see to it that you commit no misdeeds. Of course not. You're talking to a professional here. Alright. The incident. Let's see. How about starting with an overview of what happened? Sure. The victim is Pure Zealot. He was the high priest's disciple. His body was discovered around noon today, right after the rite wrapped up. So during the high priest's murder trial. That's right. Apparently, he had been here praying since the day before the rite even started. Talk about serious devotion. Yeah, that barely lasted a few minutes. This is a picture of Mr. Zealot's body. Oh, wait, he has... Is that a peach on the back of his neck? That dagger in his upper back looks like it would have been particularly painful. Huh? Is that a tattoo on the back of his neck? It's peach-shaped? Everyone started leaving when the praying was finally done, but the victim remained bent over in prayer. And when they went to check on him, they discovered he was dead, right? Alright, he has a peach-shaped tattoo. Yes, The estimated time of death is May 9th, sometime between the start of the rite and the discovery of the High Priest's body. In other words, we believe the crime took place during the purification rite, and the murder weapon was the same ceremonial dagger that killed the High Priest. The prosecution believes Maya came down the stairs after killing the High Priest, and then stabbed Mr. Zealot with the same dagger. Circumstantial evidence does point to Maya, but what about the cause of death? He apparently died instantly from the dagger that was thrust into his upper back. Here's the autopsy report. Zealot's autopsy report. Alright. Estimated time of death, you say? How can you know such a thing? I want to know. Well, Bob Ted, out with it. Oh, so the Princess of the Spirit Medium Kingdom is interested in forensic science? Huh, I have no interest in science. Forensic or otherwise. Nevertheless, I will someday be queen. As such, it would be wise to know what silly things the common folk believe in. There's nothing silly about it. I'll have you know, even Prosecutor Sadmati holds forensics in high regard. Does he? Perhaps I should not underestimate the power of science. Still, I suppose it is nothing much compared to the divination seance. She really doesn't have an adorable bone in her body. Emma, I think she's actually interested. Would you mind explaining it to her? I guess I have to now. Okay. There are many ways to estimate the time of death, but the most well-known method uses the change in body temperature. Interesting. Body temperature drops at a steady rate from the moment a person dies. That means we can tell how long someone's been dead by measuring their temperature. I see. That was quite enlightening. Hang on a second. So, one of the things I noticed when we talked about the weather forecast, be warned, however, that we'll see a cold front move in overnight. We have now brought up body temperature. The Chekhov gunniness of this makes me think this weather forecast and the fact that we're talking about how to determine the time of death, is going to come into play. So let's just keep that in our back pockets. Bob Ted, present your forehead now. What? Why? You feel just a little over 95 degrees. It seems you are not dead yet. Of course I'm not. It was but a jest. After all, you're still the dead lawyer walking. I fail to see the humor in any of this. Were there any witnesses? With so many people here at the plaza, you'd think somebody would have seen something. You'd think so, wouldn't you? But we haven't found a single witness. How's that even possible? Because everyone was bent over, utterly devoted to prayer. Naturally. All right, the back-shattering pose that nearly killed me. Still, you'd think someone would have noticed something. I thought so too, but with the monk's scarf he had on, no one could see the dagger in his upper back. Plus, everyone was so absorbed in prayer, he didn't see or hear anything. I can't believe this. What you choose to believe is your choice, but the fact remains there were no witnesses. However, there is one piece of irrefutable evidence, the dagger. Sadly, yes. Let's talk about the murder weapon, shall we? Could you tell me about the murder weapon? The killer used the Warbod dagger, the legendary weapon of Lady Kira. It was discovered impaled in the victim's upper back. The accused's fingerprints were found on the dagger, were they not? Yes, they were. A dagger modeled after a warbod. Yeah, okay. With such irrefutable evidence, there is no questioning the accused's guilt. Not so fast. What about a motive? Maya had no reason to kill Acolyte Zealot. What do the police think about this matter? The motive, yeah. Let's hear about that. Maya had no reason to kill Acolyte Zealot. So you say, but let us now hear what the police think about the matter. The police believe Maya is the Lady Kira figure who has been battling the rebels. And since Mr. Zealot was the disciple of the High Priest who turned out to be a rebel, he too was likely a rebel and therefore met the same untimely demise as his teacher. Yes, that's how the police currently view the crime. There's no way Maya is that Lady Kira vigilante. I agree on a personal level, but the police are just going with what today's trial concluded. Ugh. I really blew it in court today. Alright. Well, let's look at the crime scene then. What do we got here? Acolyte Zealot died bent over in prayer. There's no trace of blood on the ground, though. The fact that there's so little bleeding could mean it was a single stab to a vital point. Not that that would have been very difficult, considering the position he was in. Yeah. And flowers? So these flowers were left here in memory of Acolyte Zealots? What were they called? They are known as Namanda, and they are given to express sorrow when a life is lost. It seems offering flowers in memory of the dead is a universal practice. Namanda flowers. Oh, okay. The flower the Chinese use to express tribute to pay tribute to the departed, expresses heartfelt sympathy. All right. Interesting. What's this? Acolyte Zealot was killed in a prayer pose, with his head bent over like that. The last thing he saw must have been this rug. It is a prayer rug woven by devout monks. May the Holy Mother's blessing be upon this departed soul. It's strange that there are no bloodstains, though. Perhaps it was so cold his blood froze. Or perhaps it was absorbed by his vestment. It is pretty cold. Maybe the blood really did just freeze inside his body. Heartfelt sympathy despite his position as a rebel. Well, we don't know if Zealot was a rebel yet or not. We can assume he was, though. Right? Because this Lady Kira only kills rebels. So, if he was killed by Lady Kira, who they think is Maya, he must have been a rebel. Interesting stuff. Yeah, why is somebody expressing sympathy for a rebel? Oh, hang on, what's this? This prayer flag looks much newer than the rest. Your benevolence? What does it say here? The dearest wishes of our subjects are written upon these prayer flags. Reading the prayers of others is considered rude. But if you must know, it says, at the usual spot, bring grub, the keys too. That is one of the more direct and practical prayers I've ever seen. I wonder if it's even a prayer. Brand new flag. Huh. Okay. That message on the prayer flag seems a little weird, but I think I've seen everything there is to see around here. You have not found or heard anything of particular worth. Are you ready to give up? No, I'm not calling it quits yet. Does it look like you have any hope of winning, Mr. Wright? Emma, I can't really say at this point. All I know is I have to keep investigating. What are you two sneaks up to? I would advise you to get back to work if you're done here, Detective. Otherwise, I will report you to Prosecutor Sadmati for dereliction of duty. I'm going. Well, see you later, Mr. Wright, and good luck. I should really pay a visit to everyone and every place connected with this case. Alright, that's a good indication of where to go next. Everywhere. Fun. Can I... Court record... What do we got? Investigate the second murder. That's clear as mud. Thank you, game. Let's go to the Inner Sanctum again. Is anything worth looking at here? I've already searched here, but it never... Oh. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that's a waste of time, because I would rather not waste time. What about the... Anything at the bazaar? I would say... The only thing that might change here is that we have Rafa with us rather than Albie. So her comments might change a bit. I don't know, what's this? This ox. Have you never seen a yak before, bobbed head? A yak, sorry. Only in zoos. Well, in Karain, they play an important part in our daily lives. Therefore, they must be treated with kindness and with respect. Moo! Hey, what are you doing? I command you to cease that at once. Wow, that yak is really licking and nuzzling the daylights out of Rafa. Foul beast, you've made a mess of my royal raiment. For that, I shall make a leather coat out of you later. What was that about treating them with kindness and respect again? And then there's the bird. That's one of the... Ah, what the heck was that? Honestly, what sort of grown man jumps at the call of a warbod? What? That roar came from this bird? It is a bird, right? Well, give me a moment. Nana. Wikipedia. Alright. The warbod has many natural enemies, therefore it mimics a lion's roar in order to scare them away. But you did not know that, did you? And you call yourself a lawyer. You didn't know either until you asked Nana. Enough, you lame brain. Alright. What else we got going on here? What's this? The gate to Temple. Yeah, okay, that's... And at the top of those stairs is my home away from home. Just looking at them is making my back ache. Poor Phoenix. And oh, hey! I know that poster. It's a poster. That's the plumed Punisher, Karain's famous action hero. I guess we're not the only country with superheroes like that. The plumed Punisher is going to come into this at some point. I know that. Because we still have the plumed Punisher thingy. Alright. Let's go to the priest's house. May 11th, High Priest's house. Hello? I'm sorry to bother you again, but... Oh, it's you. Bobhead. You are not contemplating casting suspicion upon Lady Believe, are you? She lost her beloved husband, and now Acolyte Zealot was like a son to her. Of course I'm not. But since she was close to both victims, I wanted to hear what she had to say. Very well. And then there's the fact that Lady Kira didn't attack Mrs. Inmee. That probably means she isn't a rebel. Is this about poor Puree? Well, I'm sorry, but I don't think I can talk about that right now. But what about Maya? She's innocent. Maya? I heard she was found guilty. First my dear husband, and now Puree. Mrs. Inmee, you don't really believe that Maya's the killer, do you? I don't know. But that was the verdict, so what else can I believe? What am I to do? The verdict was already reached in your husband's case, but the truth of the matter is yet to be found. How can you be so sure? Because I believe that Maya is innocent. That is all I have right now, my faith in her. So please, help me understand what happened. So you're defending her based solely on faith? Even though you'll be punished for abetting the accused? That's right. All right, then. Your faith has moved me. I will tell you what I can. Are you sure about this, Lady Believe?
My lovely wife is also a devout follower of Kurainism. As such, she is not one to make light of another's faith. But if I find that you have lied about your faith in Maya Fey's innocence, I shall curse your entire family and all your disciples for the next 8 generations.
Hey, leave Athena and Apollo alone, buddy. Puree Zealot. Let's talk. How did Acolyte Zealot end up living here as your husband's disciple? About 2 years ago, while my husband was at a spiritual retreat in the mountains, came across Puree collapsed on the ground. That's when he brought him here. You were always one to help those in need, weren't you, dear? And he'd been living here ever since? About 2 years ago, that's around the time Maya arrived in Khura'in. Yes, he was born in a poor village and had nowhere to call home. My husband felt pity for the boy, so he took him in as a disciple. But not only as his disciple, he was like a member of our family, too. I see. If this is where Acolyte Zealot lived, there might be something I could learn about him lying around here. Alright. So that's all she has to say for now, right? And what does this say? At the usual spot, bring Grub the key to. Huh. Alright. There's that letter. Bobbed head, it appears you are quite fond of rummaging through the garbage. I just thought there might be some other important piece of evidence in here. Oh, is that right? Look, I'm not doing this for fun, really. Doesn't look like there's anything else of interest in there. And we already looked at the spikes. Oh, what's this? A photo of the High Priest, his wife, Acolyte Zealot, and Maya. Ah, okay. Since Maya's in it, they must have been taken the day before the rite. I should ask Mrs. Inme about it. Family photo. Picture of Maya and the High Priest's family taken during the Feast of Blessings on the day before the rite. Okay. To think that this would be their final family photo. That no-good Maya Fey has some nerve. I mean, here she is posing with the two men whom she would soon kill. I beg to differ. I see this photo as proof that she didn't kill them. That smile of hers does not fool me. I sense a deep and abiding malice behind it. I'll prove Maya's smile is the real deal. That's right. No one's gonna sully Maya's name while we're around. We've already cleared her name 2 times before now. Pictures of the Queen and her husband, the Justice Minister of Khura'in. Yes, my mother and my father. What do you think? Do they not possess an awe-inspiring air? Oh, terrifying is more the word I would use. Well, yes, they are very awe-inspiring. Yeah. Well, your father has threatened me pretty directly a couple times now, but that's okay. Is that everything here? Let's look at the braziers. What a magnificent altar. Of course it is magnificent. It is for the Holy Mother, after all. The Holy Mother? Is she that faceless figure there? Such insolence! How do you not know Her Holiness is on sight? Do you seek to cross over into the Twilight Realm right this instant? Sorry, it won't happen again. This is why lawyers are so despised. Now listen well. Depicting Her Holiness's face is the greatest taboo in all of Khura'inism. There are none alive today who know what her face really looks like. And that includes the members of the royal family. Wow, now there is an unusual custom. It's gotta be one heck of a secret if even the royal family can't know what she looks like. Huh. That feels like that's a big lead up to something. Like, yeah. I'm thinking. Anyway, can we present this picture we just found? Can I ask you about this photo? It was taken during the Feast of Blessings, the day before the rite was held. The Feast of Blessings. Would you mind telling me a little more about it? The day before. I also notice that Maya is holding the plumed Punisher. Did she get it the day before? Because she's holding it. So did she just recently get it, I wonder? We'll have to see. The day before. This photo was taken during the Feast of Blessings. The Feast of Blessings. Yes, it is forbidden to eat during the days of the rite. So the day before it's performed, we enjoy dishes full of gingill, an herb known to strengthen the body and mind. You loved the gingill-based dishes I make, didn't you, dear?
Look at this photograph. Every time it makes me get murdered.
Yeah. Gingill, I heard you can go 3 days without sleeping after eating some. Yes, but many foreigners don't care for it because of its strong smell. Our customs say that these dishes can only be eaten the day before the purification rite. And only between noon and 3 p.m. That's pretty specific. Is it because the smell's too strong? A very good guess indeed. It is to ensure the smell is gone by the time Lady Kira is welcomed the next day. Wow, is it really that strong? Come to think of it, the evening before the murder, an overwhelming odor was all over town. It was like a cross between garlic and mint. After the Feast of Blessings, Pire went over to the plaza to begin his supplication. I never thought that would be the last time I would see him. What was Maya doing at the time? Shortly after Pire left, she went to the temple to prepare for the rite. I don't know what she did after that. Believe statement, okay? A statement about the Feast of Blessings that was held the day before the rite, okay? So Acolyte Zealot went out to pray the afternoon before the rite? According to the newspaper. On the day before the rite, the plaza was so cold the whole place is iced over. Yeah, that's true. Pire always prayed a lot, far more than anyone I've ever known. He was a devout young man whose faith was twice as strong as others. I don't know why, but that's kind of intimidating to me. I thought I'd have made some progress by now, but I haven't come across any particularly insightful information, even here. You seem disappointed. Mrs. Inme, is there anything else you could tell me? Forgive me, but if I keep thinking about those two any longer... Bobbed head. Yes, I understand. Thank you for your help. I'm sorry to have troubled you. We have paid a visit to all of the people and places connected with this case. I think it is about time you prepared yourself for the inevitable, don't you? I don't think so, not yet. Not yet. But I do think that's probably a good time to close out for the night, since it's close to the time I usually end. So I think we'll call it here, and then we will, next week, finish this investigation. I don't know how much longer this case is. We'll have to see. But thank you all for coming, and I am excited for where this could go. So we will see you guys next week, same time. See you then.